All right, guys. We are here today. It is GDP day today. We got GDP data coming out live pretty soon. Let me get some music playing here and enjoy the morning. Yesterday we had tons of stuff. Today we have Apple earnings, GDP data, jobless claims, unemployment filings. Honestly, a big day. Let's get some music going here. I'm trying to fix the color on this thing. Why am I so red here? Like, why is it so red? It's not the contrast. It's not the brightness. Like, why am I so red? Hold on. I guess this is pretty close to normal here. But something just ain't right. Okay, we're just going to do this one. This one's good enough. I guess just the green screen. All right, guys. So we are here today. It is... What's up, Eli, Poker, Hero, Demetrius, Pawn, MK, Joseph, Mark, Gene, John, Engineer, Ray. Good morning, guys. What's up, Beach Bum? ER. What's up, guys? Microsoft still down a lot. Look at this drop. Still didn't recover. Tesla up still. What else do we have? Meta? How did Meta do? You know, it's really funny, bro, because, like, during the Meta stream, I didn't tell anybody to buy anything, but when Meta did this, I told people, I was like, listen, I'm not telling you to buy this dip, but I might, you know, because that dip doesn't look bad at all. And then pretty quickly, boom, flew back up. Somebody said they made $700. I don't necessarily want anybody to copy me, but you guys know this is one of my strategies during earnings. When I see a wild overreaction to earnings on like Meta, BDPS, beat revenue, good guidance, right? Like when you have something like that, it gets pretty probable that it's going to bounce back. It's not always 100%. It's never 100% actually, but you get some good edge, I would say, like some decent edge. What's up, Jose? Oh, my numbers are great. For sure. We grew a lot yesterday. Just the channel alone grew. All right, we got to fix this here. Something's off. There we go. That's more back to normal. Wait, I would say we're going to have to do like this. Why am I so red? I don't understand. I just want to look normal, guys. Smoothness? No. Why am I so red? Maybe I need to like raise the contrast. This is very strange. It's not always like this, right? Am I always like red like a tomato? The lip color is what is like weirding me out. Like, look at these things, bro. It looks like I got lipstick on. Hold on. All right. But then if it goes like this, then if it gets dark, then well, whatever, dude. This will just have to work. I'm just not trying to buy up anything right now, to be honest. Like, this week is too kind of crazy, to be honest, for that this time, I think. Tomato is a fruit. It has seeds, correct? I'm pretty sure a tomato is a fruit. It has seeds. Technically, it's a fruit, but they say it behaves more like a tomato, you know, or like a vegetable, I think is what they say. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good, guys. All right, here we are. I'm ready. Ready for the day, guys. Ready for the day. Y'all slap that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We got GDP data. We're going to, GDP data is big, bro. Honestly, we had one of our biggest days of all time ever. Definitely our top 3 days ever. Like, look at it. Seriously, look at it. Like, look at this. Like, yesterday, you can kind of see with Tesla, like, we got 80,000 views in the last 48 hours, which is great, honestly. Tesla stream didn't get that many, but that's because it was at the very end of a long day for me, and I was just ready to shut it down. Meta got 13,000. Fed meeting got 40,000. Our regular stream got 17,000 views. So just kind of a crazy amount of views, man. We appreciate it, guys. We appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah. A tomato behaves like a tomato. You know, tomatoes are kind of sketchy, you know. They're plotting in the background, man. They're kind of shady. You know. You definitely don't want to behave like a tomato. That's all I'm saying. Alright, guys. Hey, what's up, Lewis? A lot of whales are bearish on February puts and volume. I'm not gonna say I'm bearish, right? Because I'm not bearish. I just don't like buying up anything right now. So it's not that I'm bearish. I'm just not interested in buying up big positions right now. And maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, Apple earnings after the bell today. Oh man, this is terrible. Yeah, I'm just not hearing about this, man. Rest in peace to all the lives lost. That's terrible. Horrible. You see, a Black Hawk helicopter ran into an airplane. It was an American Airlines. So 3 people survived. Or no, I'm sorry. This was a different plane crash. Very odd. Very weird. Alright. Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about earnings. The Blue Belt test went well, man. It went fine. Like, we passed it pretty easily. Yeah, we did fine. Why am I red like a freaking tomato, guys? Honestly, it's starting to bother me here. Like, I don't know if it's my angle or the light that I currently have here, but I shouldn't be red like a tomato. Ooh, this is even redder. I guess this is probably the most normal, but even my lips are like glowing. Look at this. Weird. Whatever, man. Honestly, I give up with my green screen today, bro. I don't know what's up with my green screen, man. I really don't. This is not bad, but still. Yeah, anyways, Meta up a little bit. Tesla up some. We do have some earnings today. We had IBM earnings yesterday. We covered all of them pretty quick. Looking at the news this morning here. Meta CEO says Threads has more than 320 million active users. Let's get a rundown. Today we got GDP data. Now, today's GDP data is what's called first initial estimate. It's called the initial estimate GDP data. Now, this is the least accurate. We had Comcast earnings this morning, but yeah, this is the least accurate GDP data that gets released on a regular basis here. As of today, again, Microsoft, despite strong quarterly results, declined 3.7%. Meta is up 3%. Tesla has risen 3.5%. The Federal Reserve opted to maintain current interest rates and paused rates, a decision that has been well received by the market. GDP data is scheduled to release the advance estimate for quarter 4 GDP today. Analysts anticipate a growth rate of approximately 3%, which would indicate sustained economic expansion. I'm showing 2.5%, but I think this could vary. But this is the advanced estimate, the initial estimate. It is the least accurate of the GDP reports that come out. We get 3 per quarter, of course. We get 1 a month, 3 per quarter. The initial estimate, the first revision, and the second revision data for GDP. Now, the initial estimate or the advanced estimate is the least accurate GDP report that comes out. It is the most rangy, most varied, most variance-heavy GDP report, followed by the first revision, which is a little bit more accurate, and then the final or second revision, which is much more accurate, which is the actual GDP that we get, really. Also, we got Comcast coming out with earnings today. We also have unemployment claims with jobless claims unemployment coming out today. They are expecting 228K. We'll put this up on a scroller at the bottom of the screen probably here. GDP expected. I'm showing for GDP 2.5%. 2.5 to 3%. All right, so GDP, I'm going to put it in quotes, expected at 2.5 to 3%. And jobless claims expected at 228K. Release live here at 8:30. All right, so we got this GDP data stuff's on the bottom of the screen now. You can see it. Dow is going to cut 1,500 jobs as it struggles to get back to profitability as well. We see that news on the Dow. Yeah, I mean, Tesla earnings, Tesla missed EPS and I think revenue, but it went up. So, could have been worse. Oh, I think I know why we're red like a tomato. Hold on. This is why. Oh my gosh, it's so bright, dude. This is why we're red like a tomato. We have the orange tint from night light mode on. Honestly, it's still probably worth it though, guys. Like, I just changed the settings. This is bright on me now, bro. I wasn't expecting it to be this bright. I'm gonna turn night light mode back on, and I'm just gonna be red like a tomato, I think. But we'll reduce it a little bit so that it's not that bad. But honestly, we kind of need night light mode now. Now I see why I'm red like a tomato. I see. Okay, it's my fault. All right. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, we'll cover all of them. As soon as all the big earnings coming out, we're going to drop them in chat right now. Here's Comcast. Comcast, boo. Everybody hates Comcast. They posted Q4 adjusted EPS of 96 cents, beat the 86-cent estimates. Revenue of 31.62 billion, beat the missed 31.64 estimates. So they raised their annual divvy to 6.5% year over year, $1.32 a share per quarter, and raised the buyback program by 15 billion. We also had Sherwin-Williams earnings coming out. We'll put all these numbers up in chat right here. We had Sirius XM earnings. We're going to cover all the earnings reports dropping this morning. Here's Sirius XM. And then we got BBVA. They say even without the full merger, Sabadell deal would make sense as most of synergies would be booked. Here's BBVA. If you want to look at that, there it is. What is this? It's supposed to be instrumentals, bro. What are you doing? I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why that guy just started rapping on here, but hey, it's alright. I know, dude. It's the night light, which I kind of need. Like, if I turn it off, I turn back to normal. But I kind of need it, honestly. It kind of helps me, so I'm going to leave it on. Because honestly, I sat at my computer, I felt fine. As soon as I turned it off, it literally looked like the brightest screen I've ever seen. And so my eyes adjusted to it. Yeah. All right. Hey, we got 50 minutes. Let's get the timer up. GDP data coming live. 40 minutes. Or, I'm sorry, 50 minutes. Subscribers started freestyling. Hey, all right, let's do a poll here. Are you bullish or bearish on today's? Or do you think GDP data comes in higher or lower than 3%? All right. There's the poll. Vote on the poll. Yeah, I mean, what it is, I figured out what it is. It's just it's the night light that I had on, which kind of makes everything. It takes away the blue and it adds an orange tint to things. That's why I look red like a tomato. That's what it was. All right, we're at 62%. Oh, man, dude. And we're going to have a video that we put out yesterday. Again, one of the things I kept seeing people say is that my levels were solid on Top Step X, right? So we got a video kind of detailing how we find them. It's pretty simple. It's a lot simpler than a lot of people might realize. Like, we draw big levels that confirm over 3 times, and then we leave them up. And we don't really change them unless we get some, like, really contradictory information, or they're rendered, like, less relevant because of moves or something. Like, that's when we might take them off the chart. But we try to keep them up and watch them, and then just trade in small little ranges throughout the day. It's hard to explain, but that's what we do. And it works. It works really well. We should have that video coming out. We should have that video dropping sometime today. Probably after Apple earnings, I'm guessing this evening. Definitely higher. I don't know, man. I think people get so bearish because they want the market to crash that they just kind of overestimate market weakness. Man, this plane thing is sad. There's a video of it. Video is not very good quality.
It's blue.
NVIDIA earnings February 26th. It's really the next biggest day in markets for sure. I would say it's the next big day for markets. Yeah, I've read a book about that, it's called I think it's called 1 Second After? I think it's called 1 Second After. Last 2 earnings of NVIDIA were good, but market did not like it. What are your predictions for this one, fellas? I really don't know. I'm not sure. I'm trying to just wait. I'm not making any big, bold predictions. Market's up too much for me to like it. All right, guys. All right, chat. GDP data coming out. I'm wondering how much volatility we're going to get from it. I'm wondering if the volatility is going to be kind of muted from all the crazy stuff we had yesterday. Honestly, yesterday was a freaking day for me, bro. I had so much stuff, dude. Y'all could probably see it at the end of the day yesterday. I was tired, man. I was done. Like, I was so freaking exhausted by the end of the day yesterday. Yesterday, I literally woke up at 5 a.m. Streamed. Once my stream was over at about 9 a.m., I then had to go on Top Step TV about an hour and a half later. So I got an hour and a half break from 9 to 10:30, really. Once I went on Top Step TV, I went on there, and then after that, I did the FOMC stream. So I went from Top Step TV to FOMC stream, and then I did FOMC stream, immediately redirected to the Meta, Tesla, Microsoft earnings stream. We covered all of that, right? We streamed continuously earnings, whether it was Meta, Tesla, Microsoft, until like 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, we went to jiu-jitsu, and we stayed there for 3 hours, right? Didn't get home until 9 o'clock last night, so I literally had no breaks yesterday. I would love to be able to rest today, but the show must go on, and we got Apple earnings today, and Apple earnings are a significant earnings. Apple was one of the most heavily weighted stocks in the Magnificent Seven. It's one of the most heavily weighted stocks in the NASDAQ, to be honest. So I don't know about Nvidia. The best chips in the world are Cruel Ranch. I disagree, man. I would say sour cream and onion, most likely. Like sour cream and onion. There's also like sour cream and onion and cheddar, or cheddar and sour cream. I would say those are probably the best. But you know, depends on my mood. All right. No, I mean, I tend to agree, Ty. I'm not the biggest worrier for that type of stuff. I'm really not. I have family that do, but like, I'm not a big worrier, man. Like, I'm not even super political, right? I'm pretty neutral politically and genuine. Like, people think I'm just saying that for my stream. I'm genuinely neutral. Like, I don't trust any politicians. I think they're all the same. None of them do what they say they're going to do on either side, ever, you know? If they do, it doesn't last anyway, because, you know, the next time somebody gets power, they're so they hate the other side so much that everything one side's do, the other side's take it away, regardless of whether it was good or bad, regardless of whether they agree or disagree with it on either side. And so it just gets too bureaucratic for me, and argumentative and spiteful, I guess is the best word for it. So I just end up just avoiding all of it, because it's not just one side, it's both sides. People tend to root for their side like it's their freaking football team. They ignore policy altogether, and they just kind of blindly agree with whatever their side says. At a certain point, it's just kind of like, all right, like, you know, I just go by policy, and in policy terms, I'm pretty neutral, you know. I'm a capitalist, but I also think college should be free. I think healthcare should be free to a point, because I think, you know, yeah. But with that said, but I'm also a capitalist, and I believe you should be able to do whatever you want to do as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. But yeah, that's about as political as you're gonna find me. I'm not the top 3 most bullish person. Apple earnings are Mag 7 tech earnings. They're going to influence most tech stocks today. Yeah, no, I basically got my blue belt. You know, one of the things I found incredibly interesting is that Mark Zuckerberg is now rooting for the other side of the political spectrum. And I'm not against Mark. I'm not agreeing with him here, though. And I'm not disagreeing either. I'm very neutral. What I will say is that it just looks like he's jumping to whichever side has power. Whichever side he thinks is going to have power, he's trying to be their best friend, which you can't even really get mad about. Because, I mean, if you're looking at longevity in tech and business, I mean, it kind of makes sense. He's kind of following Elon's lead in that regard. But I'm just wondering what the future implications are for Meta with that in mind. Yeah, because, like, the first thing he said on the earnings call yesterday was, like, he was supportive of the current administration, which is interesting. Now, who knows what the truth is. It seems like he's just kind of jumping to whichever side has power, which is fine. I think most tech CEOs do that, but a lot of them don't, I guess. And, you know, a lot of them stick to one side and then, you know. Hey, thank you, Mel. Yeah, we didn't have the ceremony yet. Like, I didn't actually get promoted yet. But we basically did all the moves, and he basically was like, "Yep, you all have your blue belt." He ordered them. He's waiting for him to come in. The ceremony will be later, which is fine. I'm kind of nervous about it though. Blue belts. I know for me personally, like as like a 4-stripe white belt, when I go roll and spar with somebody, a lot of the time I look for blue belts because like white belts are sometimes too easy for me. I'm not even bragging. I'm being honest. Like white belts are too easy. I can kind of throw a lot of white belts around, in all honesty. And so a good like challenge for me is a blue belt. Like most of the time, it's going to be competitive. The last few I beat. Like I tapped a couple blue belts yesterday. I got one with a Peruvian necktie. That's my favorite submission lately, is a Peruvian necktie. I've been kind of spamming it on everybody, but it works. It works. But yeah, point is, I'm a little nervous about that dynamic. I don't get that white belt privilege anymore. What's up, Bonk? Thank you, Mel. Richard, our heel locks. Heel hooks can be painful. Yeah, he follows the money. I mean, you can't knock him for it necessarily. I can't really get mad at him for it. Heel hooks. When somebody does a heel hook on you and you're just rolling at your gym, right? Which what I mean by that, as long as you don't have like a toxic like competitor gym, competition gym or something like that, when somebody heel hooks you, they should not crank it. If they crank it, it hurts and it can break your heel, break your foot. But the proper etiquette for the gym, and what everybody I've rolled with does, is they will get you in a heel hook and they will just give it maybe 30% pressure and just kind of look at you. When they do that, it doesn't hurt. It's not pain that you feel. It's vulnerability is the easiest way to put it. Like, you know your heel and your knee, because it's your knee. This is your knee. You know your knee feels vulnerable, and that if they continue to apply pressure to it, I wouldn't even say it hurts. It just, you feel pressure. You feel pressure. That should make you tap, and anybody with experience is going to tap if somebody gets their heel locked up like that, because heel hooks are incredibly dangerous. Now, you can take that versus like an ankle lock, which is like a straight ankle is going to hurt, but not necessarily break unless you let it go way too long. Like, you can fight out of an ankle lock while it's hurting. Like, an ankle lock will hurt. Like, it doesn't feel good, but like you're usually okay. It just depends, right? It depends on who's doing it. So yeah, that's foot locks for you basically. Yeah, well, the necktie is a form of a guillotine or a guillotine. It's a different form of it. Yeah. All right, guys. Hey, GDP data coming out in about 35 minutes today. 35 minutes. It's expected anywhere. I'm seeing a varied expectation. 2.5 to 3% today. We'll see what we get. I'm ready. We did make some money in our other account yesterday. I think we got locked out in our first one, though. And so that's okay. Let's take a look. Honestly, though, you know, I get confirmation in my levels a ton. Like, check out my levels, bro. Like, I was talking about this, and again, we got a video debuting, like, about this. But, like, you get confirmation in your levels, and it kind of just shows you that they can be legitimate. Like, look at this level here. Like, we drew this level well before any of this price action. I didn't draw any levels today. I'm just opening up my chart. But you can kind of see, like, levels tend to work. They tend to stay working, too. And I'll draw new levels on the chart as well. I think this level's probably justifiable to watch now. Maybe here. But we'll zoom in, take a look at some levels here. I have a video that I'm publishing later today that details how I document levels and stuff. So just watch that video. It's coming out later. Subscribe if you haven't yet. You know, I'll give you guys a little sneak peek of the video, right? So the video, we talk about a strategy, and the strategy involves this: finding a major documented support or resistance level, and then looking at the 200 exponential on a 1-minute chart and attacking a trend. Here's a downward trend. Okay, here's a downward trend. It's very clear, right? When we get a pullback, not only to the 200 exponential moving average, which is right here, but also a pretty majorly confirmed support and resistance level like this, I love to attack shorts around that level here and write it down, right? Attacking that trend, looking for a good range. If I can find good risk reward, it's even better, right? So if I can find good risk reward, here's a risk level, here's a reward target. You know, this is 2-to-1 reward to risk right here. If I cut it when it breaks this level on the upside, and write it down to this, maybe you could probably raise this up a little bit more, down to this new reward target that we built. It's a good 2-to-1 scenario. I'm not telling you to buy anything, and I have no freaking idea what I'm doing. If you copy me, you might lose. Understand CFTC 4.41, hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations, guys. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose money. Don't copy me. Understand all this stuff. I'm biased in Top Step's favor. Anything else I can disclaim, I disclaim it. And yep. But that's basically how I find these strategies. You know, I would short this right now too if it wasn't pre-market. But because it's pre-market, I'm gonna stick to my rules and I'm just gonna wait. But I don't hate a short here, to be honest. I'm not telling you to do it. It might just rip up in my face. I don't know. But I don't hate it. I really don't. This is the NASDAQ futures contract. Also, if you want to check out Top Step, their funded account program in futures, they give you a demo, they test your skill with it. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you only lose the monthly subscription. On Top Step, the base one's $50 a month. Not the end of the world if you fail it. If you pass it, you get a $50K funded account, 90% split. Top Step X has zero commission. Zero commission. I can make $14, $30, $29, $9 still net profit. It just makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense, right? It's limited risk, but 90% split. You get to keep your first 10K once you're funded, and then if you're good enough, you can fund your own account. And they paid out almost $200 million. But remember, they're an affiliate of mine. I am biased because I get paid by them. You want to confirm it all with them and understand CFTC 4.41. There's always risk of loss, Tony. Central time right now, it's 7 a.m. It's 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central. Apple earnings are not being released before market open. Not from my understanding. I'm pretty sure they're coming out at 4 o'clock today. I'm 90% sure. Yeah, so we had UPS, MasterCard, Caterpillar, Blackstone, Southwest, Nokia, Dow, and more. But nothing like that. All right, yeah, and look, there's the breakdown. Hey, congrats, Leo. Good job. MasterCard, I'm pretty sure, is out already. Let me make sure. So MasterCard posted. MasterCard's not out yet. UPS BDPS missed revenue. Caterpillar BDPS missed revenue. Blackstone BDPS missed revenue. Southwest BDPS missed revenue. Nokia BDPS beat revenue. Dow missed EPS missed revenue. Altria BDPS missed revenue, or BDPS beat revenue. So most stuff BDPS, half of them missed revenue though. So that's where we're at now. All right, so we asked people, do you think GDP advanced estimate shows higher or lower than 3%? 59% think higher, 41% think lower. I don't know, to be honest. We got 30 minutes left until this data releases, but I really don't know. We got jobless claims unemployment coming out as well. A crazy day yesterday, man. Honestly, I'm just glad it's done. So busy, man. So busy. Years, Tony. It takes years to learn, to be honest. Our Discord's growing a lot like crazy, man. Look at all these, like, we had so many people that joined our Discord yesterday, man. So shout out to you guys. And I see the Discord's moving, man. We got a lot of people talking, chatting, hanging out. You love to see it. Hey, nice out here. Yeah, I mean, you can learn, but the real way you learn, and it's one of the reasons I think Top Step is so useful, and I'm not even trying to, like, plug Top Step. The way you learn is a mix between, like, planning out your systems and strategies on a demo account, and then learning how to manage those systems and strategies with pressure added, right? Because a lot of people, they're like, oh, well, I'm just going to buy 1,000 shares in a demo account, and then when I start trading real money, I'm going to buy 1,000 shares and just do it. That doesn't translate. Usually you get so much pressure, fear, all that stuff that, like, you end up just terribly mismanaging real money and losing thousands or more. And so it's one of the reasons, like, Top Step's a beautiful middle ground of that, right? Where it's like, it's a demo account. If you pass it, you get funded. You got some pressure to succeed. It's not the full extent of risking your own $10,000 plus dollars. But it's still some pressure. You're still risking something, and it teaches you how to perform under pressure in trading. It's a beautiful thing, to be honest. But again, they're an affiliate of mine, so I'm biased, but genuinely think it was good. Even if I wasn't, I wish I had something like this when I got started. Because when I got started, I really did lose, like, thousands of dollars. Like, it was all for the best because, like, you know, it ended up helping me, like, found this channel. Like, I ended up founding beginner trading and, like, starting beginner trading, and, like, now we're at a point where the net effect is very, very positive, very, very positive. But I still lost money in the beginning, and most people are not going to have that luxury of like having something else. Like I make money every day regardless of how much I lose trading. I really do. And most people are not going to have that luxury. And so it really is something you want to take slow, steady. Understand most day traders lose. Don't buy some super expensive course on publicly available content from people that are trying to act like the greatest of all time. Most of them are exaggerating or embellishing their claims of trading. And, you know, just try to figure it out for free is what I would recommend in that way. A lot of ads on your videos. Win. I didn't do an advertisement just now. I didn't even plug the link just now. Like I said, without even plugging the link, like I think it's good for traders. Or, you know, find something that helps you learn. Just demo trade. When you do start using real money, slowly scale up your size. Like take 50 shares, then take 100, then take 200, then take 400. Like slowly but consecutively scale up your size and get used to the emotions that come with it. Yeah, like beginner trading might do like 4 plugs in a 3-hour stream, so that's a little bit over 1 an hour. If that's lots, you know, I guess it's subjective. But yeah, in my videos we almost always only have just 1 plug a video, which I think is pretty normal. Videos take hours and hours to create, and so, you know. Well, it's not advice, it's just what I would do. Not an investment professional. Yeah, and look at my short idea here, would not have worked. Again, this is why I don't trade pre-market. It's just too hard to gauge trend. Especially leading into big economic data in 20 minutes. It's just too hard. All right, we got about 700 people here. We still got over 20 minutes left. Or we got about 700. Alright, guys. I need to look at more stock stuff on X. Alright, guys, we got exactly 20 minutes left. 20 minutes left. Market's flying, though. Look at that. Oh, the ECB rate decision is today, correct? Let me make sure. Hold on. Yeah, so we had European GDP show up at 0%. Year over year, it showed up at 0.9%. So lower than expected GDP in Europe, in Eurozone. We had Mexican GDP show up lower than expected on both fronts. We have the ECB rate decision coming out in 5 minutes, chat. In 5 minutes at 8:15 market time. In 5 minutes, we got the ECB rate decision here. Now, we are reacting to this level that I have on the chart. So I'll give it a little bit of room here and see what happens. If we get a cup and handle like pattern, I will take it as long as the economic data is not going to come out. But yeah, they're expecting a 25 basis point cut from 3% to 2.75%. Is what I'm showing. A 25 basis point cut is what they're expecting for the European rate decision. We'll see if this impacts markets. It might. I'm not sure. If you're 17, I'm not going to give you advice. Ask your parents, bro. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so again, the rate decision's in 3 minutes exactly. We'll cover it as soon as it drops. We'll watch the market response to it too. All right, you guys ready? All right, guys. Yeah, we're still sitting tight waiting. We got less than 2 minutes now. We got about a minute and a half before the ECB rate decision. They're expecting a 25 basis point cut from 3 to 2.75%. We also have GDP expected anywhere between 2.5 to 3%. Some are showing 2.7%. Jobless claims expected at anywhere between 224 to 228,000. Now, jobless claims are how many people are filing for unemployment. So these are unemployment filings dropping at 8:30 today, guys. So just be ready. We got this data coming out live soon. And yeah, we'll see what happens. All right. All right, so we're gonna curb this level to this, raise it up a little bit, see if we get some better levels here. I like the new level a little bit more than the old one. And look, there's the rejection of it. I like this area here. 650 might be what it's rejecting to. All right, guys, we got 20 seconds left. 20 seconds. Let's see what the ECB does here this time. All right, here we go. And here's the ECB decision. Let's see how it affects markets. All right, chat. So the ECB ended up cutting 25 basis points as expected. The deposit facility rate for January came in at 2.7%. The ECB interest rate decision came in at 2.9%. But again, they ended up cutting rates 25 basis points to, 2 3/4 from 3 is what they did. So again, they cut rates 25 basis points. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that was the decision. It came in as expected for the ECB. And again, remember, in 15 minutes, we got GDP data. We have, we got GDP data. We'll put this up on screen. Yeah, market didn't really respond. I mean, it's Europe. John, don't you think people are just too stressed and crazy about money? It feels like kids want to go make money and not enjoying life a little bit. It's not money though, brother. TJ, so like the way you have to understand this, and this is what people have to understand, man. Like, like, you have to understand it like this, okay? Money buys enjoying life, right? What money does is allows you to enjoy life. Because if you're working, trying to survive, a 9 to 5 every single day, all like constantly, you're not really enjoying life, right? Like, you're working all the time. It's there's a correlation there between how much money you make and how much you're able to enjoy life. And so money buys that opportunity. Money buys time is what it buys. Don't get it twisted. Money buys time. If you don't have enough money, you're going to have to work, and you're going to have to spend all your time to get it. And that's a tough thing. And that's why, like, people that are truly happy in life are people that find something they genuinely enjoy. I love the stock market, finance, and general trading. And so, over time, I've built a business around that. And it's a beautiful thing. I love it, to be honest. Days like yesterday are tough when I have no break, but that's an outlier day. Most of the time I'm done by freaking 11 o'clock in the morning, and I can just chill and do whatever I want to do for the rest of the day. And that's a beautiful thing. But the easiest way to put it is that money buys that. Like, money buys enjoyment in that way. And yeah, people could say, oh, you shouldn't care about money. I think it depends how you grew up, right? Like, my dad, I love my dad. I really do. My dad was frugal. Frugal is the best word. And so when you grow up and, you don't get to buy what you want to buy, and maybe he did this intentionally, and it probably was for the best. It made me entrepreneurial. But when you grow up and you're not able to buy what you want to buy, as you get older, that becomes a priority. I know other people that come from, like, big money, and to be honest, they're worried about money noticeably less. Right? They're just worried about it noticeably less. The reality is they're not as worried about losing it. Like, I don't want to lose my money, and it's something that I worry about. Like, I want to be able to, like, I should be set for the rest of my life, but you always have to worry, right? And people that don't come from money genuinely or generally worry a lot more than people that do. From what I've seen and from what I've experienced, like, personally, and with other people that I've seen that grew up with money, they don't worry about it nearly as much. They're also a little bit more reckless in their spending and stuff like that. It just depends. But yeah. And I think you got to understand the priorities of young people to understand why they chase money so much. What are the priorities of a lot of young guys? Right? They're going to want to go chase girls. They're going to want to, they love cars. They want to drive fancy cars, chase girls. They want those girls to be attracted to them in that way, and the means to get that is usually through, like, money and power, and so that's what they chase. That's young people. It's pretty obvious, I think. Like, you can't even knock them for it. When I was young and dumb, that's what I did too. But yeah. Yeah. John, what does your gut tell you about the dollar index for the near future? I don't know, man. The dollar index, bro. People have been sensationalizing that thing for half a decade now or longer. It's been on a run, though, since September. But, like, if you look at a long-term chart of the Dixie, it's really been flat for 3 years now. It's been sideways. And every time it gets to the top of the range, people say, oh, it's the end of the world, inflation. And every time it gets to the bottom of the range, they say the dollar index is crashing. I mean, I just try not to sensationalize it. We're up at the top of the range now. We're close to it, but we're still pretty neutral over the last 5 years for the Dixie. So I'm going to wait until it breaks that range, until we get some big geopolitical stuff that makes it break that range, and then that's when I'm going to start worrying on either side, an inflation side or the recession, depression, fear side. My favorite John quote today: it's not money though, brother, TJ, the way you have to understand, and this is what people understand. Yeah, I mean, I spoke over my words a little bit. You'll be all right. Whoever you are. It's not that I stutter, it's that I try to talk too quickly, and I trip over my words a little bit. But yeah. Yeah, I used to be the top 3 youngest and dumbest. I'm 50 and still chasing that. Yeah, that's how it goes. All right, guys. Hey, we got 9 minutes. We got 1,000 people watching here. This level did confirm up here, but it's still not. If we get a cup and handle, I'll attack it. But I have to wait until the economic data comes out in about 8 minutes. Yeah, because I was trying to think. Like, so what I was trying to do there is I was trying to think about how to phrase what I wanted to say. And so I started to say it, and then I was like, wait, let me phrase this differently. And so that's when I kind of trip over my words. Love you. Have a good day. One of the top 3 traders, 3.5. Higher GDP doesn't necessarily signal inflation, but it can. There could be a correlation there. GDP data is gross domestic product. It's essentially like a direct understanding of economic growth is what GDP is. So higher GDP is stronger economic growth. Lower GDP is weaker economic growth. And this is the, again, advanced estimate. So this is the least accurate GDP reading that we get quarterly is the advanced estimate. So, yeah. So it's the most variance heavy. It's the least accurate, and the following. So you get 3 readings a quarter, right? There's the advanced estimate, the first revision, and the final revision. It's the second estimate, whatever you want to call it. Each consecutive one is more accurate and less variance heavy than the first than the previous. This is the first one, so it's the most kind of random, variance heavy GDP report. But it also can cause the biggest reactions in markets just because it's the first one, right? That they're looking at quarterly. Yeah, we slept well. The PCE will move markets, yeah, for sure. Tomorrow's PCE, yeah, definitely will move markets. All right, we got 1,100 here. We still got about 6 minutes left. Yeah, I got it. They haven't given me the belt yet because they ordered it. They got to wait for it to come in, but I passed the test is what it was. Yeah, we got a head and shoulders here. This is what I'm looking at. When I say head and shoulders, what I mean, guys, is I mean this. But if I can use the 200 exponential and a confirmed resistance level around my trade, great. Again, I would take this trade right now short, in all honesty, but I have to wait until GDP comes out. I also shouldn't trade in pre-market. I'm doing my best to follow my rules, but yeah, that's where we're at. How did you get all the financial education? I taught myself. I'm mostly self-taught. You don't need to go, like, the way to explain it is kind of like programming, right? Like, you can go to college for programming, but it's going to take you a lot longer than somebody that goes to a boot camp and just teaches themselves outside of the boot camp. And so trading is very similar. Like, you can go to college for it. You're going to have an easier time finding jobs. If you do, you're going to have a bigger chance of being like a stockbroker or some type of analyst at a bank. But I'm just a marketer, and so I taught myself, and it's kind of like if somebody starts college for programming and computer science, within 4 years they're going to know less than somebody that teaches themselves to code, as long as the person genuinely like teaches themselves over a 4-year period. Like somebody that goes to a boot camp and is self-taught, they're going to probably be able to program better than the person that went to school for 4 years. because the problem with school is that they have all these different prerequisites that are not always the most necessary, and big education wants you to keep buying courses. They want you to keep buying courses and buying courses and buying courses. And there's a lot of tutorials online that'll teach you better, to be honest. Finance is the same way. Point is. All right, guys, here we go. We got 4 minutes left. 4 minutes. We got 1,300 viewers right now. 4 minutes left. None of it was books. Books are not the easiest way to learn. Like, you're not going to learn trading through book form, in my opinion. See, I would attack this head and shoulders, guys. I honestly really like it here too, but GDP drops in 3.5 minutes, less than 3.5 minutes, in 3 minutes really. So it's too, like, if GDP comes in strong and the market likes that, it could completely cancel out any technicals. Fundamentals are going to trump technicals. They really are, right? Like, fundamentals are going to move markets much more than technicals. And this is where a lot of technical wizards get it wrong, is that they're looking at all these crazy technical patterns, but like when GDP comes out or FOMC decisions or any type of fundamental catalyst, it's going to cancel out any technical move at that moment in time, at least. So, all right, guys, we'll break it down. We got 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. I mean, it's the start of a head and shoulders. You got the head here. You got one shoulder for sure. Now, the second shoulder, if it goes like this, I would argue it is a short-term head and shoulders pattern, which is just kind of a universal technical pattern. But, you know, it's still the early stages of it. It's not quite there yet. All right, guys, we got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Be ready. Is higher or lower GDP good for the market? I think it's somewhere in between. I think, like, the market does fear inflation right now, and so they might fear high GDP. The market also doesn't want economic weakness usually, and conventionally stronger GDP is better, not worse. And so I think we're somewhere in the middle. I think we could be still in backwards land where good is bad and bad is good, where high GDP makes the market panic, but it's not necessarily there. I think the market wants rate cuts, and the Fed's been hawkish. And so anything that shows like too hot of an economy might freak the market out and make the market dump, is what I think. But who knows, man? Who knows? I'm just speculating. I might be wildly wrong about any of it. Today's a pretty big day. We got GDP and jobless claims dropping in 1 minute. So we got GDP and jobless claims, which are pretty significant. You know, these are not small. Yeah, I mean, I taught myself trading, economics, finance. Pretty easy to teach, too. Tomorrow, PCE. Yeah, tomorrow's PCE report's the biggest report this week, or outside of the Fed decision. PCE inflation data is incredibly relevant right now based off of everything going on. All right, guys. Again, GDP drops in about 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Be ready here. We're ready. GDP drops soon. 20 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream chat. This data drops basically right now. 10 seconds. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. This timer's a little bit early. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here's the GDP report. Jobless claims way lower than expected. Way lower than expected jobless claims. 207,000 versus 224 expected. GDP was lower than expected at 2.3% versus 2.8, 2.7%, 2.5% expected. Lower GDP data. Lower jobless claims numbers. So kind of mixed results. Jobless claims showed much less people filing for unemployment at 207,000 versus 224,000 expected. So again, much less people filing for unemployment. In terms of jobless claims, GDP data showed noticeably lower than expected at 2.3% versus 2.7% expected. Now, the context of this is the initial estimate, so it's the least accurate, most variance-heavy GDP in the quarter, right? There's 3 different readings: the advanced estimate, the first revision, and then the final. This is the least accurate. So 2.3% versus 2.7% might make people optimistic. I think the market still wants rate cuts, and if the GDP data is too strong, we're not going to get rate cuts. And so maybe that's why the market's moving up. We also, again, had much lower than expected jobless sales or jobless claims, but this is a weekly report that's a little bit less influential, in my opinion, right now over GDP data. GDP, again, 2.3% versus 2.7% expected, roughly. So, again, lower than expected GDP, lower than expected jobless claims numbers. Lower than expected jobless claims does signal economic growth. Weaker GDP obviously signals economic weakness. And so that's where we're at now. Again, 2.3% for GDP quarter over quarter. We'll see what this means moving into the future. But yeah, GDP data lower than expected. Market likes it though. Again, I think the market wants rate cuts. And so lower GDP does signal like more of a need to cut rates. And so maybe that's what the market's doing here. Maybe the market's reacting favorably to this. I'm not sure, but we'll put the numbers up. We'll put the numbers up here. All right, baby. All right. This means the economy was weaker than expected at 2.3% for GDP, but less people also were filing for unemployment at 207 versus 228 expected. So yeah, less people filed for unemployment. We'll put this number up on screen. GDP showed 2.3% versus 2.7% expected. Jobless claims lower than expected at 207K versus 228K. All right, guys, so we're going to put this at the bottom of the screen here so you can see it. Again, so we got all this data showing at the bottom of the screen now. If you want to know the look at this support and resistance level hold at right here. So that level held really strong. But again, yeah, GDP data is out. Market did not like it. Their market liked it, I mean. And again, I think the reality is the market kind of wants rate cuts. And so lower GDP signals more of a need to cut rates. And I think the market kind of wants it, to be honest. I do think the market kind of wants lower rate cuts. And of course, people pushing for market crashes are going to act like it's the end of the world and that the GDP and the economy is so weak, guys. We're not there yet, though. The economic data is just not showing that yet. Maybe this is the start of it. But jobless claims also showed up like way lower than expected at 207 versus 228, almost 230 expected. So mixed results. Yeah, you know how it goes. Like, people are so desperate to be right in the trading space that, like, if I said, hey, the economy doesn't show a lot of weakness, and we get one economic report that shows lower than expected, they're going to isolate that and be like, see, the economy's about to crash. It's like, we're just not there yet. Again, listen, if payrolls show up low, if jobless claims show up high, if unemployment spikes, if PCE shows high, then I can agree. But right now, we're not there. Yeah, I think they cancel each other out a bit as well. And again, we're basically completely flat and neutral now on this report. The head and shoulders didn't hold. Well, yeah, but again, fundamental data is going to trump any technicals, right? So we can have the best technical pattern in the world, but if GDP shows up like this and the market likes it, which it obviously did, here's where GDP report came out. Here's the reaction to it. And so, yeah, I mean, as I said prior to the data release, like, the economic data is going to completely cancel out any technical pattern. That's why we didn't take any trade based around it. I guess the point is, duh, is it this apples and oranges? The jobless claims is weekly number, but GDP is quarterly. Yeah, GDP being down is what caused that reaction for sure. 100%. I agree. Yeah, gas prices up. Not saying, yeah, first move, wrong move, guys. A lot of the time, the first move is a wrong move. And look at this. This kind of shows it as well. Look at that resistance level, though. I got to give my little levels credit here. Look at this spot right here, bro. We drew this out like yesterday. Look at that. We went right up to it. You love to see it. We'll see if we keep it up. Yeah, I'm scrolling back. What drop? Somebody said, I hope you guys heard what I said and caught this drop. What drop? Or what did you say? Let's find it. Right, technicals are good if the in the absence of fundamentals and data. I'm looking. I'm looking. If you predicted, if you called a drop, good job. But I want to see it first. Let's look up the chat. Yeah, we gotta wait. Still looking for high volumes thing. Okay, actually, I'll give you credit. He said, I'm going to jump on that bandwagon that it's going to drop, but it's going to do a little fake to the north quick. Hey, you were right. Or actually, yeah, it looks like you were right. Good job, high volume. That was a good call. Nice job. Always got to back check these, though, because people will try to get validation for a lot of stuff. They'll be like, yeah, if they said the market could be bearish yesterday and the market drops a tiny amount today, they're going to be like, see, look at me. Yeah. My boy ain't liking that dump. You can see it in his face. I mean, I'm not really in anything super substantial. If anything, this dump is kind of validating. I've sold a lot of my positions. If you've been listening to the stream for the last, like, 3 weeks to a month, I sold a lot of my positions. I think we're going to correct sometime this year or next year. And so that drop is insignificant to me, really. It's too small of a drop to really influence things. So it's not like I'm long and I'm just losing massive positions or anything like that, you know. I mean, it's weird how like people want you to fail on internet. It's kind of strange. But yeah, I'm flat. I'm not really holding anything right now. In fact, I have rules where I don't trade in pre-market, and my long-term portfolio is lighter than it's been in a long, long time. And so, yeah, I mean, if anything, the market dropping kind of confirms me selling a while back. And so, you know. Tesla dropping 10%. Is it really down? Let me see. Yeah, Tesla, man, it did bad on earnings. It didn't do good, but for whatever reason, it gapped up. Ironically, Microsoft did good on earnings. It is gapping down a big amount. Did IBM hold its gains? Let me see. IBM did hold most of its gains. Kind of crazy. Yeah, we watch stuff like this all the time. This is too early. Like, we don't really have any, like, this is mostly flat. Like, from the GDP report, it's mostly flat. It's not like we're crashing down to the core of the earth here. Like, this is a tiny little drop versus GDP data. Like, GDP data showed up here. We are now here, you know. Do I have an echo? Y'all might be able to hear me through the headphones that I got. Ignore the trolls. They're going to want to leech off your energy and vibes. Yeah. No echo? Okay, good. Yeah, I don't know if we have anything else coming out today. Let me see. Yeah, tomorrow's PCE report is massive, though. It really is big. So we have the ECB press conference in 24 minutes. We got pending home sales at 10. Yeah, that's basically it. Friday, big day. Tomorrow, big day. What about next week? I think we got a whole bunch of stuff next week, too. I think next week's actually busier. I don't know if it's busier than this week, but it's definitely busy. Yeah, next week we got ISM manufacturing, JOLTS, ADP non-farm employment, and ISM services, jobless claims, unemployment, and payroll numbers. Every day next week is busy, which is good. Are you gonna stream Intel earnings? Nah, not big enough. Didn't know you had trolls. Oh, there's always trolls in every live stream, I think. Yeah, so we got a video coming soon about how we draw our levels. Doesn't cost anything, completely free. We're probably going to debut it after Apple earnings this evening, so just stick around, subscribe if you haven't yet, and you'll be able to watch the video. Yeah, I don't know, Radical. Yeah, I mean, I try to tell people this with earnings, but you never freaking know what. Look at this. So again, we broke under this level, held, rejected. I try to tell people, like, people sit around and wait for earnings, and if company has good EPS, good revenue, good guidance, they buy it, and that almost never works. The only way that works is if a company has good EPS, good revenue, good guidance, and drops a lot, the chance that it's going to like rebound is pretty high, at least some, but it's never 100%. Nothing's definitive, and there's always variance. Again, Dante, we got a video coming soon later on today, so just stick around and we'll show you. Universal law, whenever there exists a chat, there exists a troll. Honestly, though, like, so serious, genuinely, like, I've met a couple trolls, right? Like, I really have. Like, I've met somebody that was a self-identified troll. What I've found is that they are deeply insecure people. Like, deeply, deeply insecure people, right? Like, they're usually, like, really unhappy or, like, really socially awkward. And so they kind of, like, struggle. And they kind of, like, envy and they're bitter. And, like, they're just kind of, like, off. Because I think, like, healthy people psychologically don't behave that way most of the time. It's fine to like, if the trolling is in, like, a light way where you're just kind of messing around and joking around. Like, I joke around and mess around with people that I like friends of mine, right? Like, I'll mess around, joke at them, kind of, you know, make fun of them a little bit, but never in, like, a mean way. There's a difference between that and, like, just trying to be, like, really mean. The people that are mean are just usually just unhappy with themselves, deeply insecure. PTON, is PTON even up, bro? My family's kind of pushing me to buy a Peloton. What should I tell them? No, what I mean is I met a troll in real life. Like, I met somebody that was like, yeah, I'm a big troll. And I saw some of their behavior. I can't really give too much context into it. It's giving too much context would explain a little bit too much. But the person, I worked with them, and had them do some contract work. And then when I hung out with them, they were like, kind of like, I can't be too specific. Being too specific is mean. It's not like I'm just making stuff up here. Yeah, when I met the troll, he looked like this right here. This was him. That was him right here. Yeah, yeah, for sure. No, Joker, you're okay. The only way I'll really ban somebody is if they're sitting around just looking to attack anything I say. Like my guy Jamie here, he just got banned, right? But that's the only way I'll ever really ban somebody. Look at the support level hold though at 605s. We're at 630s. Are you a cyclist? No. And as much as I hate to admit this, I have a nickname that I call old men who go get on a bike with some spandex and a fancy futuristic helmet and block the road and get mad at drivers for driving on the road. Some of them even drive on the interstate or the feeder road. And I have a nickname for them, and I call them bikelers. My whole family calls them bikelers. I created a nickname for them. And I'm not talking about some dude that just hops on a mountain bike and is just living life. I'm talking about a very specific middle-aged man in spandex on some fancy bike, probably wealthy, with some futuristic helmet on and spandex, right? Those are bikelers. And if that's you, I'm sorry. It's not super derogatory. It's just what I call them. We have a name for them, Californians. Yeah. Peloton, company's unethical. I got a fruit fly in my area. And I don't really like have an issue with people on bikes, right? It's not my issue is if I'm driving on the road and it's a one-lane road and the bike guy is like getting weird and aggressive with cars trying to pass him. Like they expect everybody to just go 15 miles under the speed limit so that you can ride your mountain bike in spandex. It's like, dude, get out of here, bro. Like, get out the way, you know? You know what I mean? Just annoying. But again, if you're riding bikes with your family, that's one thing, right? Who knew everybody would relate to so much to the Bikeler comment? Who knew, man? You talking about my neighbor? Hey. Gold is going to be interesting today, next to all-time highs. Yeah, it really is close to it. I was looking at it the other day. Oh, gold is at all-time highs. Wow, gold broke all-time highs. So no, gold, I didn't even realize this, but gold actually did break all-time highs here, chat. Look at gold. Wow. I wonder if the GDP data, yeah, the GDP data did affect this positively here. Wow. I'm also a Californian. I'll move to the right as much as possible. In a big group, we'll take the lane, though. Legally allowed and actually safer. Anyway, back to trading. Yeah, and listen, Steven, I'm just messing around, brother. If it's something that you genuinely enjoy, live your life, dude. Like, I'm just messing around. Like, live your life, bro. If I enjoyed bicycling, you better believe. I've got the right of way. Dude, I'm blocking the road. They'll just have to get over it. Top 3 most entitled biker in the world right now is what I would be if I biked, but I'm not. Can you do today's show in spandex? I don't know if I have any spandex. The only spandex I really have is like a jiu-jitsu rash guard. Thoughts on NVIDIA? Yeah, I mean, I think NVIDIA has been after the DeepSeek drama, NVIDIA's had a pretty big demise. Honestly, though, the market hasn't followed it down as much as I thought it would, right? So the market hasn't followed it down as much as I thought it would. Yeah, no, I understand their logic, Mr. Turner, but I can still hate them secretly. You know, I get it. Like, I get it. Look, if I'm allowed to block the road, I'm blocking the road, right? The only thing I don't understand is people on the interstate. I saw a biker on the interstate, like a bikeler on the interstate. And I just kind of wonder, like, dude, like, get in your freaking car. Like, ride your little bike around. It's fine. But, like, when you start doing that, it's a little out there. It's a little out there. It's up for them being able to do whatever they want to do. I just don't want them to cause problems when I'm driving, which they do sometimes. I'm gonna buy a bike, get a camera, and just stream myself riding around. Yeah, but gold is up big, guys. Meta's still rebounding pretty strong. Meta broke $700 for a little bit. I'm going to put just 2 charts up. Here's NVIDIA, though. NVIDIA... Next stream, I'm going to get a helmet, too. I got a helmet. I think I got a helmet right out there. I bought my son an electric scooter for his birthday. Honestly, though, I drive that electric scooter around my house, and I pretend to be the robot guy from Grandma's Boy pretty regularly. My daughter hates me for it, but it's okay. That's what I'm here for. All right. All right, guys, time for the top 3 greatest plug ever of all time. If you haven't already checked out Top Step, we are going to day trade today. I think we made money yesterday, at least one of our accounts. Top Step gives you a demo, and they test your skill with a demo account first. If you pass the test, they fund you. It's kind of like a souped-up middle ground of pressure, where if you fail, you lose the monthly subscription. In this case, it's $50. If you pass that $50 subscription challenge, you get $50K in funding with a 90% split, and you get to keep your first $10K. So once you pass it, it's very similar to funding your own account. If you fail it, you're only out $50. It's limited risk. Reward is similar to funding your own account. In my opinion, just less risk than risking and losing thousands and thousands of dollars like most people do funding their own account. Top Step's one of the most legit in the world. You could trade gold. You could trade the NASDAQ, basically the QQQ price action and the NQ. You can day trade the S&P price action and the E-mini S&P futures contract. You can day trade it all, and the patterns are very similar to blue chip stock patterns. There's zero commission as well, so I can make $14, $30, $29 with micro contracts with zero commission, and it's just a lot easier to scale in and out of positions with less commissions. A great way to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose, and I think that's the same here. They're an affiliate of mine. I'm biased, and most day traders lose. That's just kind of how it goes. But frankly, it's a lot cheaper to lose here most of the time for most people, at least. If you want to check it out, here's the link. Great way to help support the channel. Understand I'm biased. They pay me money. I have no freaking idea what I'm talking about, and if you copy me, you might lose. There's the link right there if you want to check it out. Also, apparently, I'm one of the top 3 most insecure YouTubers in the world right now, especially if it comes to like a bikeler. I like Top Step X for trading. I like Top Step X because I can lock myself out of the account. And so I can, like, if you look at this, right, it's a PDLL. It's a personal daily loss limit. If I lose $200 or more, it blocks me and liquidates me for the day. So it completely locks me out for the day, so I can't lose much over $200. And that's a powerful thing. And on my winning days, I have no set limit. And so if I win money, I can make as much as I want. If I lose, I can only lose $200. And that's a good like system to protect your account with these. And I think that's just super useful. And again, look at these levels, man. These levels have held pretty well. We'll see if they keep it up. Top 3 shenanigans. Yeah. You could be growing faster. To be honest, though, Oreo, like, okay, I could be a big network and I could hire people and I could do all this stuff. From what I've seen, some big networks succeed. Like Top Step does great, and they've grown a crazy amount, to be honest. But other big networks have failed doing it, and so it's kind of like I've seen some other big networks hire all these different people, and I'm getting more views than they are with just me, and so when it comes to that, like, I understand I'm going to lose some growth by just having me here, and I recognize that, but I'm going to keep everything, and it's going to be all mine, and it's something in which the risk is noticeably less, right? The margins are better. There's less expenses. The margins are better. I don't have to worry about paying somebody else's salary and all that good stuff. And I get to completely manage it myself. And I've been able to do it successfully so far. The only downside of that is I'm going to be able to produce less video content. This is mostly a live streaming channel. So I'm going to be able to produce less video content, less shorts, less stuff like that. And that's okay. I'm okay with that compromise. You know, but again, some people would prefer to try to start a network or do whatever. But again, we're competitive with a lot of the networks in terms of views. Like some streams are bigger than others. Like yesterday we had 40,000 plus viewers for our FOMC stream. So like some streams are better than others, but in general we're competitive with just me. And so if we're competitive with just me, I'm going to keep it just me because it's easier. And again, I'm not really claiming to be like an expert day trader or anything like that. I'm not even claiming to be a good day trader. We're really just an economist. My channel is mostly about economics and economic data. And like, yeah, we trade, we swing trade, we invest, we day trade sometimes. But it's certainly not something where I'm sitting here claiming to be the greatest day trader of all time. You know, like we're just an economist, like finance channel. I almost thought about changing my name to Beginner Finance, but you know, that's all good. ECB's affected the market. Yeah, that's not a shock. Oh, for sure. It's a lot easier to date. I mean, Pawn helps me out as a moderator, right? Like, so I have, and I pay Pawn well as a moderator on my channel. And he saves me some time and energy doing stuff. But people don't understand editing and making videos. It's work. It's a lot of work. And I don't necessarily like doing it. So. Yeah, somebody says I used to watch other channels. They started nice, but got bad over time. But the problem is that like it's a hard standard to tell people that you're the greatest day trader, right? Like telling people you're the greatest day trader and embellishing and exaggerating gains and like, you know, trying to sell courses to people and having to live up to that standard. And you know, a lot of them end up like just starting drama with randoms, right? Like I don't ever mention names. I don't ever start drama with anybody really. But a lot of the other ones do is because they have to live up to that standard and they're so like competitive and like, it just, that seems stressful to me. I'd rather just tell people I suck. And if I do okay, I do okay, you know? Yeah, Discord's growing a lot too. I'm not really referring to anybody. It's not like it's just one of them. There's a lot of people that feed off of drama and stuff. I'm just not really about it. All right, we're heading up here. We broke over this resistance level at 63. I'm trying not to trade right now. I'm trying not to trade. I don't want to take any trades. Gold's still ripping up. We're going to trade after the opening bell. Would you consider this an inverse head and shoulders on a 5-minute chart? On the NASDAQ? Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see that where we have the shoulder here, the head here, and then the other shoulder. Yeah, it's kind of a badly drawn, but I see it. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Yeah, head, shoulder, shoulder. Yeah, I can kind of see that on a 5-minute. Yeah, I'm trying to not trade right now, so I'm just kind of sitting tight waiting. Do you think DeepSeek is going to be a problem, or do you think the NASDAQ is going to continue to break highs? I think DeepSeek is going to help AI evolve faster, regardless of its short-term effects of like microchip stocks, effects towards microchip stocks. I think it's going to help AI grow more exponentially. But what does that do, Pawn? Does that inverse it? Did that just inverse my chart? Yeah, it did. Wow, so you could inverse your chart here. Look at that. That's cool. I just got to make sure I don't get mixed up here. But yeah, that's cool. You can inverse your chart. I never knew that. Top Step X is dope, man. It's cool. I think you created a really nice community. Congratulations. And also, yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thanks. I think it's a good community mostly. I think, yeah, if I have a character flaw, I probably talk about haters too much, maybe, or, you know. Honestly, I'm kind of trying to help them, though. Like, I'm trying to tell them, like, look, you're spending your life being negative. You got to put goodness out into the world. Not bad. Coming from the top 3 goodness doers. All right, so market's still ripping up. I feel attacked. If DeepSeek is not a fake news story as it is common. Yeah, no, I think it's going to drive the cost of AI down. And maybe that means we'll need NVIDIA less. But it's still important. I'm happy to say I'm very happy. Or I have to say I'm very happy that you don't just sit here and talk about winning. If anything, I'd probably go off the other direction a little bit too much. I'm sitting here for hours and hours every day, though, so I'm going to rant and talk about whatever, you know, pops in my head. And again, I think people probably appreciate that more than dislike it, you know. You can't please everybody, though. All right, so we're rejecting 675, 680s here. Let's watch 650. We got 25 minutes left. I don't know why they hating on you. You never said you are the greatest. Yeah, no, for sure. I'm definitely not the greatest. I'm definitely top 3 greatest of all time ever in the world. But yeah. There are people who mostly buy when something breaks all-time highs. Yeah, well, like, I think, like, I'm just gonna give an example. Let's pretend, and again, we're just pretending here. Let me stretch this out a lot so I can get my point across. Let's pretend that this is an all-time high. All right, all-time highs can act kind of like magnets, where when something gets close to it like this, if something gets this close to an all-time high on a chart, it's very probable that it's going to keep pushing up and at least try to break it, right? If something gets this close and doesn't quite break it, a lot of the time it's going to keep going up, break it, and then it might dump back down. But once we get up to like these levels here, or this even, where we're getting super close to an all-time high, but we haven't broken it yet, the break there is super probable, in my opinion. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe we crash. Nothing's definitive. There's always outliers, and you know, anything can freaking happen here. But once you get close to all-time high levels, everybody starts watching that level, and it's kind of like a magnet. Traders are watching it. It's like a magnet. They want to see it. They want to tune in for it. It's like a magnet. And then a lot of the time, again, once we break that level, you just get a huge dump. Everybody starts taking profit because their level is hit, right? So you just get stuff like that a lot of the time, if that makes sense. Yeah, GDP data's out. It's right here, along with jobless claims. All right, guys. Hey, we're going to day trade today. We'll see if we can do something good. All right, there we go. We got yeah, so again, guys, we got GDP data coming out. We had unemployment rate come out too. Jobless claims. All right. All right, guys. So we are going to be day trading the opening bell. Look at that support level hold again here at about 645, 650. We got 25 minutes left. Yeah, so PCE inflation data tomorrow is expected at 2.6% on the year. Core is the big one, though. Core is the one you want to pay attention to. And the monthly core reading is what you want to watch. It's expected at 0.2%, which is actually a little bit of a bump up. All right, so we did a poll. We're going to end this poll. What do we say? How about this? Does the economy enter a recession sometime in the next 2 years? Remember, a recession is technically defined as 2 consecutive losing GDP quarters. All right. Vote on that poll. Let me know what you think. Our first vote, we had about 1.3 thousand votes, 57% higher, 42% lower. All right, so former NFL officiating vice president Dean Blandino delivered a serious forward warning to Tom Brady, leaving fans stunned. Blandino called Brady an, quote, idiot, and stated that he made a grave mistake by reportedly criticizing NFL referees on live TV, calling it offensive. Honestly, as shiny as Tom Brady's face is, I agree with him. Freaking criticize the refs, bro. Like, get it? Like, honestly, I'm a Saints fan. And so you guys know, I've got a bigger issue with refs than anybody in the NFL. You know, they need to, like, honestly, the system of officiating in the NFL is absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible, right? Like, it should go something like this. Like, they shouldn't, like, you should have, like, 3 to 4 different challenges per game. At least 3 to 4. Right? That way, if the game is on the line, you can't let a bad call blow the game, right? And you can't let them control the game through these bad calls, which absolutely happens. You know, and so give each team 3 or 4 challenges a game, not just one. Allow them to challenge whatever. Don't penalize them for getting it wrong. Just give them a set number so they can't just call a challenge every freaking play. Give them 3 or 4, let them do it, and this will end. Right, because then when they look back at the play, if they see it's a mistake, they should go back. But instead, there's only a set. Like, you can only challenge, what is it, once or twice? Yeah, 2 challenges. You know, that's not enough. You need 4. I would say at least 4. Because you get more than 1 bad call a game. Yeah, you need more. All right, so we're bouncing right there. Again, I never shut up about the 200 exponential. This is why. Look at that. 200 exponential. Where do we go? Boom. Right off of it. Yeah, again, we're nowhere near a recession right now. Nowhere near. Just to put this in perspective, a recession is technically defined as two losing GDP quarters back to back, right? We're nowhere near that. GDP's at 2.3%. It just came out. And so I think, but again, we just finished an election year. An election year, one of the overarching truths is that people get emotional. One side's like, hey, it's the worst it's ever been. The other side's like, hey, it's the greatest it's ever been. People eat it up. They love politics. They believe whatever the politicians are saying. And the politicians have no urgency to be truthful, so they want you to think it's the worst it could ever be and during election years. And so that's why a lot of people think we're about to enter a recession. It's mostly because politicians, it's an election year just finished, right? So people are going to say, oh, it's the worst it's ever been, when really, like, unemployment's been relatively low, payrolls have been okay, GDP has been strong for the last year. Inflation's been terrible, but that's not a recession. That's other problems. That's like the opposite of one, which is too strong a labor market. And, inflation goes up when the labor market's strong, not weak. So, Apple earnings are today. Right. I agree, Femi, 100%, bro. I absolutely agree. Did you really play in the NFL, Femi? It's hard to tell, bro. I could change my name to Snoop Dogg, and then put Snoop Dogg's face in my profile, but it doesn't mean I'm Snoop Dogg. So you went to San Diego, played for the Vikings and the Ravens and the Dolphins. Yeah, but I guess the real question is, how do you prove it's really you? And you're not just using his face on Facebook. If it's really you, props to you. But I'm always naturally a little skeptical, All right, well, if that's really you, that's great, man. That's cool, Femi. Cheers to you, brother. That's cool, man. Why lie, though? I mean, why lie, though? Wait, what did he say? He said, yeah, I tend to believe you, but who freaking knows, man? How exactly is a rainbow made? How exactly does a sun set? How exactly does a posit tracker end on a Plymouth work? It just does. People just lie, bro. Yeah, trust me, I see it forefront and center most of the time. Yeah, it's all good, dude. All right, guys. Hey, we got 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Market's kind of sideways choppy, although kind of up and down from the GDP report. I'm looking for when our super micro semiconductors earnings, and I find different dates and I'm confused. Just Google it. I'm showing super micro semiconductor earnings are November 5th. Whoa. I don't know, man. I'm not even showing. I don't see the next super micro earnings. It's weird. I don't know. You actually emailed me once? Did you really? I'm sorry, bro. I get so many emails, dude. I really do. Like, people send me so many emails, like, trying to sell me on so much different stuff that I start to just ignore all of them, bro. Sorry, dude. I like Bitcoin. All right, so let's see if we hold the support level. Look, watch 630s. We're breaking down under the 200 exponential here. We got 13 minutes left. All right, so Lagarde says that Bitcoin will not enter reserves of any of the central banks under the General Council. So she's not as friendly for Bitcoin. Look at that bounce, guys. Look, I said 630. See, these are why you document levels and you leave them on your chart. As long as they're valid and they confirm. Look at that, though. Literally to a T down to it. Even if it breaks this level back. Look at that, like, confirmation in the level here. I'm going to leave that up. UPS says they have not accelerated the Amazon volume down. They would be tapping their margin in a slow growth market. Had they not accelerated the Amazon volume down, they would be tapping their margin in a slow growth market. Yeah, I'm not sure fact. Supermicro earnings are today? Are they really? Let me look this up. I'm showing today. After market close today is what I'm showing. Let me make sure. Let me confirm this. The issue with Supermicro semiconductors, to be honest, is I don't think they've confirmed it. So, like, usually companies have to confirm their earnings. I don't think they've confirmed it today. That's why it's weird and not showing up. So, yeah, look at 630s right here, guys. We told you guys it would bounce. Or we told you guys it could bounce, and then it did. A level held firm. We're going to keep these levels up. And I love it when we open up and we're within the range of my level, so I can kind of use them. I don't have to draw more. Is that sarcasm I hear from you, Robert? Is that sarcasm? Yeah, so it says 130 for earnings, but I don't see the confirmation in the actual date. They haven't confirmed the date yet for whatever reason for Supermicro. They've had a lot of stuff going. Yeah. All right, hey, we got 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Can y'all hear the blower outside? Or the weed eater? I don't know if it's a blower or a weed eater, but can y'all hear that? Yeah, so Lagarde, so President Lagarde says that there is certainly a recovery. Economy is not at potential yet. Interesting. All right, we're retesting this level. No? Okay, good. 10K deadline, February 25th. That's right around when NVIDIA earnings are too. Also, guys, again, check out Top Step. We're going to be day trading on them today. Link is in the description. That's what we're trading on. They're an affiliate. I'm biased. Understand CFTC 4.41. All that good stuff. Not an investment professional. Would you invest in real estate outside of the U.S.? No. Not unless it was incredibly cheap and I thought the market would grow long term over time. And so maybe, but it would have to be like a really good argument of like, hey, this place outside the US has like a booming real estate market that is like super probable to go up big over time, and I can get in now for, you could buy a house for 20K here and maybe in the future it'll be worth 300, some crazy margin like that. That's the only way I would. Outside of that, it's too much headache owning property overseas. Can't really manage it, can't really do anything. You're gonna have to put your trust in other people too much for that. I'm just not about it. Definitely no. Journey. Yeah, I'd invest in another state. Another state's fine. There's a difference between that though. Maybe Canada. Like Canada, maybe. But I don't know. I think I'd probably make less. To be honest, I'm in Texas, which is already a really good real estate market, right? Like where I live specifically has one of the best real estate markets in the country. It really does. And so I don't really need to look outside the state. But like if I did, I might buy a property in Michigan. I've thought about buying a property in Michigan before just because we have some family out there and I think Michigan's cool. But yeah. No, I haven't really heard of it, Fabio, but that's way too far away, brother. Way too far away. All right, so we're breaking under my support level. We're coming back down. I'm not going to be too specific, to be honest. Lagarde says rates are not at neutral. Debate about neutral rates is entirely premature. So we're talking about Southwest Michigan, mostly. Southwest Michigan. What about investing in gold or silver? Gold is okay. It's got to be a long-term investment for gold, though. Long-term, gold does fine. Short-term, it's only like a 6, 7, 8 year uptrend. And so, like, I think gold might pull back sometime soon, but it just ripped up and broke high, so what do I know? It's not something that I'm interested in investing in right now. But everybody's different. I'm certainly not telling you not to invest in it. I just don't know. And it's in terms of edge, it's lower than it can be, and so I'm just going to wait. All right, guys, we got 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I mostly try to start other businesses, Brian, that I'm in the process of doing. Like, we've got a couple other businesses, and yeah, we just look for other ways to make money. Yeah, it was pretty muted reaction to GDP. Look at this support hold as well. So we got some confirmation of my levels this morning. The Dow. Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna wait till the open. I'm looking at the Dow. I'm watching gold. Dow's pretty weak on the day. Nasdaq's kind of flat. Dow's been really volatile after the Fed meeting yesterday and the earnings reports. The Dow is less diversified though, so like it's going to be a little bit more affected by some earnings than like the Nasdaq or the S&P, which are much more diversified. Like the Nasdaq is 100 stocks, the S&P is 500. The Dow is just 30. So it's going to have big moves sometimes like this that other indices are not going to necessarily have. Broadcom? I like Broadcom. All right, guys, we got less than 3, about 2.5 minutes. Gonna put Apple up. Put Meta, Tesla, Microsoft. AVGO? Yeah, AVGO's up a lot on tech. Did they have earnings? Their earnings are in March. Probably AVGO is just AI related, so it's up on AI news most likely. The market's kind of sideways and rangy here, chat. We got PCE tomorrow too, but like, look, we're kind of like neutral range here. Like we've been moving sideways. All right, Meta's heading up. We're at 698s for Meta. Still rebounding big up here too. We're at 663s. Look at this big rebound here. Some type of news must have just dropped. Look, another confirmation, 663 level. All right, guys, we got 30 seconds. 30 seconds. See what we get. Guys, there's the opening bell. Let's do this. All right, guys. So far, we got a little red action here. Let me switch to the micros. Is there a way to move all my support and resistance levels? I'm gonna have to open up 2 charts here and put the micro contracts up so I can like mirror my levels here. Okay, why is this linked? I gotta change the link. Okay, there we go. Similar levels though, 663, 661, 650, basically the same. I like 630 as a level. Here, 605. All right, look at this big bounce here too. We'll put this isolated high up here. Maybe here. 8.5. All right, we're 2 minutes into the open. We still got a little time though. We gotta wait here. All right, so we are rejecting a little bit here. All right, so look at this breakdown here. I'm gonna test a trade down here, if we can. Okay, yeah, we're short. I'm gonna short one more if I can up here. See if we get a flush. So piece off down to this support and resistance level. All right, we cut it. Also, guys, I'm gonna switch. So I just changed this to ticks too. So I actually really like this type of chart where I saw somebody doing this on Top Step X. We're going to switch it to ticks. We got the big breakdown in the red action. So we're slightly green on the day now. Small, still early. But not too bad. We're at the bottom of the range too. If we bounce back to here, we might short. But yeah, we didn't get an opportunity to. Yeah, I think the ticks might help. A lot of red action though, specifically driven by like meta. All right. Here we go. All right, we just made another 30 ticks there. You'll have to see it. So we're up about 30 bucks today probably. Using my levels as a guide here and momentum. GDP was lower than expected, Brian. So GDP was 2.3%. Expected was 2.5 to 3%. So it was lower, actually. A lot of red, though, showing up. If we get a rebound up here, we'll short at 620 down to maybe like 6 with a risk level of 630, so it's 2 to 1. Didn't quite get it though. All right, we jumped in there. Give it a second. We'll add down to this one too, since we can now. We're in 2 contracts. We're gonna tighten our risk now though. We're gonna have to cut that. We cut one of them there just because we had to tighten our risk. I like the risk reward trade, but what's going on is Meta is like rebounding fast too. I'm gonna stick to my risk reward here though. We'll let it test my level, but we're going to cut it if it breaks. Gotta cut it. So we're down slightly on the day, maybe like 20 bucks. We'll see if we get some better risk reward trades involved now. It's a big rebound, and we're kind of showing choppiness. Meta's starting to rebound all the way back up. Look at Meta up here too. So Meta flying back up well over 7s. Tesla up, Apple up, or I don't know if Tesla's up actually. Let me see. Nvidia's actually still down though, so it's weird how the market's not quite following Nvidia down. Tesla's down actually, by the way. Meta and Apple are up, so that's why we're getting chopped. And we're going to short here. Didn't quite get a good entry, but we'll try it. I don't want to trade against the momentum, though. Small. Flat. I'm going to cut this a little bit early. I don't like the momentum that we're getting right now in Meta. So we'll just come back and fight another day. Or fight another trade, I should say. We'll also probably pivot to the upside now that we're over the 200 exponential. Apple turning all the way back down again. Meta's kind of propping the market up though. But for me to get in now, I need a dip. I don't mind buying a pullback to the 200 exponential as long as I can use a tight risk here, but it doesn't look like we're going to get it. Hey, later, Sam. Have a good day, brother. Yeah, we're down a little bit on the day, but we're still kind of flat. Meta's just up a lot. Kind of unpredictable, too. Look at Meta fly at the open. Think about it, though. Nvidia's fallen down. Tesla's still really weak. All right, we're gonna jump in this 200 exponential trade and then maybe add a little bit more to it. See if we get a pop. Immediately took piece off. Let the rest ride. Took another piece off. Didn't really lock in that much profit though. Here we go. We'll add to this now. Take that off. Take that off. All right. We got the 200 exponential bounce. I'm gonna jump back in it here. Might add a couple to it too, and then use that risk that I have on the chart already. Oof. Yeah, we gotta cut it now. It's just a big candle showing up. Nvidia's still breaking lows is what's dragging the market down. We kind of got a McDonald's sign too, so like, I'm gonna hands off it for a little bit, I think. Yeah, well, what's going on right now, chat, is Nvidia's breaking down. That's panicking the market a little bit. But we also have Meta breaking up. Apple up on the day. Tesla green. Or Apple's actually kind of flat when you look at the previous close. But since the opening bell, Apple is flat. Or since the opening bell, I mean, Apple is green. Apple's flat on the day. Tesla is pulling back since the opening bell. Meta is running since the opening bell. And Nvidia is dumping since the opening bell. So it's very middle ground where some big Mag 7 stocks are going up, some big Mag 7 stocks are going down. So again, like I said, I'm slowing down. We're getting too many big candles short term. I do like this now, but like we got a little bit more confirmation on that last candle rebound here. So if we get a pull back to the 200, we'll buy it. We'll start to load into it now actually, but add to this, see if we retrace. There we go. See if we retrace some more. See if we can hold the rest out for a longer term trade. We're up about 26, 30 ticks on this. I don't mind adding to this either, to be honest, but I want to wait for it. Problem is Nvidia, actually I'm going to cut this. Nvidia is still pulling back like it's going to cut lows again. Like look at this. So again, I'm just going to wait and get out there and make my money. And see if we can kind of reset. Meta's still pushing up higher though, so probably could have held it, but that's all right. Look at Meta, guys, man. But it's a weird thing. Like one huge influential stock is going down big, one huge influential stock is going up big, and so the net effect of the market is kind of indecision, sideways, kind of choppy look for the market. It's a bad drawing, but up, down, up, down, up is kind of the net effect of two Mag 7 stocks inversing each other. We got some strength though. Meta's still breaking highs. Nvidia rebounding now. Do I have to have Top Step? You don't have to have anything. George, is that you? And I'm looking at my screen now. If it is, bro, do not day trade, kid. Listen, dude, do not day trade. You do not want to day trade. If you're young, just invest. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not an investment professional, bro. You know, I'm a marketer. But if so, dude, just invest your money, man. Invest it into healthy blue chip companies. Sit on it until you're 30 or 40, and DCA into it over time is probably what you want to do. Diversify into a bunch of different ones and just sit on it long term. Almost all day traders lose, man. And so yeah, do not copy me, bro. Do not, yeah. All right, NVIDIA at 123s. Yeah, there's a reason, like, I tell people day traders lose not to copy me, because I mean it, Like, I've got the disposable money to be able to throw around, do whatever I want to do, but most people don't, and, yeah. Yeah, just trust me. If you're young, do not day trade. The thing about young people is this, right? When I was young and stupid, when I was 17, 18, your risk tolerance is different, right? And some would argue maybe that's the time to do it, but just most day traders lose, brother. Like, just don't do it. Here, I'm gonna mute the music for a second, guys. Hold on one second. Jaw just makes it look easy. Yeah, I mean, look, man. It's okay, I'll put it this way. Almost all day traders lose money. The ones that make money lose money for years and years and years before they actually make money. Almost all day traders lose, and if you try to day trade, you're probably gonna lose for years. Like yeah. And I would ask your parents, to be honest, to be safe. All right, we're moving up big here. Hold on. I should have held that long right there, though. I'm gonna short this. It's kind of risky short. Don't copy me. We have some big movement on the upside. I got to be careful to cut this if it can't hold. I don't want to get stuck in another attempted run here of these highs. Yeah, I said this earlier, right? Like, yeah, we just lost a little bit. I said this earlier. I make money no matter what. I could lose, I could lose tons of money day trading, and I'm still going to end green on the day. So it doesn't matter. No, I wouldn't say there's better odds playing craps. I don't know. It's a tough argument. Everybody's a little different. We're going to switch accounts. We got a bunch of these. But as I tell people, I'm a marketer here. We cover finance, news, and economics. I'm mostly an economist. I like economics more than anything else. So, like, we're marketers here. I'm not claiming to be a good day trader, and I certainly don't want people to copy me in that regard, ever. because it just doesn't make sense to. And again, the day traders that do, am I still yellow? I know I was red like a tomato earlier. The day traders that do end up making money, they lose money for years and years and years. Like, that's what people really have to understand. It's like, you want to be good at day trading, you're going to lose money for years and years. And you're also going to have a bunch of people that market you these courses and nonsense. They're going to try to tell you that you could be the greatest day trader of all time. You got to buy a $5,000 course. And what happens is, like, confirmation bias is like, people want to believe things they want to be true, or people believe things they want to be true. I want to believe I'm going to walk outside tomorrow and win the lottery 5 times in a row. Does that mean that it's actually probable for me to do so? No, but I'm more likely to believe it because I want it to happen, right? And so people want to believe that they could buy some $5,000 course and be an expert day trader tomorrow. That's not freaking happening, though. Like, almost all day traders lose money. And like, Top Step is good in to a certain point because it limits your risk, right? Like, instead of depositing 20K into an account and losing that, you lose $50 to kind of test your skill for it. That's a useful thing, but it doesn't take away from the fact that most day traders lose, regardless of where they go. And that's the context you want to take into all of it, and make sure, like, again, if you're young, don't day trade. I don't know if young people have the risk tolerance to really do so, like, safely, in all honesty. All right, look at this big brutal breakdown in markets here. Wow. What a crazy drop. Part of me wants to buy this dip. I guess I'll try, but honestly, I'm not having good results today. Some days some days I'm just terrible. And then some days I feel like a freaking genius. All right, we're gonna cut it. That support level held. We didn't really get in where we wanted to with it, but that's all right. All right, made a little bit there. The question is, does Meta keep running here? I don't know. It's such a tough, like, question. I'm gonna get out of here though, guys. I can cover existing home sales we got releasing, and 5 minutes, and then we're gonna cut out. Yeah, we got Apple earnings that I got to cover later on today. So again, we got Apple earnings. We're going to stream later on this morning, or later on this evening. Yeah, we got Apple earnings we got to cover. Apple is supposed to release. Apple's one of the most heavily weighted S&P 500 stocks, though. So Apple is going to influence the market a lot, and we could have choppiness outside of this. The reason market's running today is mostly from Meta. Like, Meta's running big. Tesla's actually breaking down all the way back to where it was prior to the earnings report. Nvidia rebounded a little bit, but we're still kind of flat. And then tomorrow we got the personal consumption expenditure index, which is inflation data that gets released at 8:30 in the morning, and that's a big market mover too. But yeah, we'll cover existing home sales, and then we're gonna cut out of here. All right, so Tesla bouncing right at that previous closing price. Did the music stop? Intel. Yeah, it's choppy, but then big rips in the opposing direction. Again, like we did pretty good on this account, but like, yeah, I'm gonna lay it down for the day. Yeats computer. Yeah, that's how it goes. Honestly, that's what I try to tell people, man. Like, you don't, like, listen, bro. Like, teenagers got enough stresses in their life. They really do. And trust me, like, they do. Like, teenagers, bro, like, being a teenager is a tough time, man. Like, I remember being a teenager. That ish is not easy. It is not easy at all, man. My teenage years were even worse, bro. My teenage years, I was a freaking crazy person. More so than I am now. But when you're a teenager, like, everything's hyper emotional, right? Like this, you kind of cool off as you get older. Day trading is just going to make that exponentially worse. Like, do not do it if you're a teenager. You know, and again, wait until you're old and, you know, that's when you do it. Look at the market turning all the way back down. Again, I'm just sitting here waiting. Oh, she was in a long on that flash drop. Yeah. Again, in the net effect is that we're flat today. Apple pulling back, Tesla dipping down, Nvidia still dropping all the way back down to lows. Again, we got 30 seconds. We got existing home sales. We'll cover this. We're going to ride out of here. All right, existing home sales just released. They showed up at, or pending home sales at minus 5.5% pending home sales. So this means that 5.5% less homes were on the market month over month, and they expected 0%. So this means that less homes are listed. Maybe it means a buyer's market is showing up. I'm gonna ride out, guys. Again, I'm not gonna touch anymore. All right, let me drink my coffee. Yeah, so this could mean a couple of different things for real estate. One of them is that less homes listed on the market. The homes that are on markets, it could be a seller's market. Maybe prices could go up in theory, but you could also look at it the other way. Less homes on the market, less interest in buying and selling, and in turn lower prices. So either way it works. I'll see you guys later for Apple earnings. Apple earnings are going to be at 3 o'clock. Is when we're going to start our Apple earnings stream at 3 o'clock. The earnings release after the closing bell at 4:05, I think. Or let me see. No, I think Apple actually releases at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, 4:30. So I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. Have a great day. I'll see you guys in a couple hours. Y'all be safe. Market's kind of weird right now. Later, chat.